Guess we're ready to get started. How you doing, folks? My name's Phil Puryear. I'm the program director for the Mahoney County Healthy Homes and Lead Hazard Control Program, and also the CHIP Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program grant administrator. And we're here to talk about that application and how you guys can benefit from the grant that we received as a partnership. I work for Mahoney County. Mahoney County, Camel, and Struthers have a partnership where we apply for funds from the state of Ohio, Ohio Development Services. We received a $1 million grant. We had some money in program income that comes back as a result of some of the things that happened in this program. So we all told we'll probably spend about $1,102,000 in that ballpark. Some of that program income went to the last grant as well, but that's what we're here to discuss. We did a public meeting some time ago before we applied for the grant to kind of get citizen input and council input on what we should ask for. There's a couple program areas that are available to be applied for by the partnership. It whittled down to 2 areas, and you'll see them on the first couple pages there. The owner home repair program is our first sort of grant opportunity for you guys to apply for. The maximum level of assistance for that is about $22,000. It actually is not about 22, but it is 22,000. Off the top of that comes some soft costs that are involved. So the average job's going to be around 18,000 bucks. Your normal everyday job. And in the repair program, what we look at is major mechanical issues, plumbing, furnace, windows, things like that, lead-based paint, something that is contributing to some safety measure in the home that we can take care of. If there's enough money left over, sometimes we do a few peripheral things that we're able to do. We'll get you the most bang for the buck in that instance as we can. The second available program is the owner-occupied rehabilitation. That goes up to $75,000. When you take away the soft costs, you're looking at about $60,000 we could put into each house after we do combustion testing and lead-based paint risk assessments and things like that. Those things are all involved in the rehab and have to be covered. This isn't like a beautification program, so just because in either case, you may have some things in your mind that you want or need done. My housing specialist will prioritize what's pretty much the most important parts in either program, because we're not coming to HGTV your house, so to speak. We're coming to make sure that it's structurally sound, that your mechanicals are sound, your electric's up to code, and then there's a standard that we have to hit. We have to follow electrical codes, plumbing codes, local plumbing codes, and the Ohio revised or Ohio residential rehab standards. We have to bring that house up to. So it's not always going to cover everybody's wish list of the things that they want to have done. A lot of people want a new kitchen or a new bathroom or something like that. But it's not just a beautification program. If your tub is leaking, your kitchen cabinets are rotten through and through, we may be able to take care of some of that stuff. But it gets prioritized by our housing specialists so that the most important things are taken care of. We're not going to paint your bedroom ceiling if there's a hole in the roof. We'll do the roof first and things like that. So there's a prioritization that takes place that will take care of in-house. What you're going to get today is the Struthers specific application. It's only good for Struthers. Camel has a separate one. Mahoney County has a separate one as well. So if you're from Camel trying to get a jump start, your application is a little different. You're in the wrong place. But a couple things that changed in the rehab program. is earlier this year, the state changed their, it's a period of affordability period. We used to put a lien on the property for 5 years, and it was forgiven over time. 15% at a time times 5 years equals 85, or actually it was 17%, equals 85%, and 15% would remain on the property. They've since changed that rule, and it will be dwindled down to 0%. It'll be forgiven at 20% a year down to the 0% at the end of 5 years. If you move in that 5 years, whatever the percentage that's due, because you sign a mortgage and a promissory note, that gets recorded downtown. So if you, let's just go round numbers, you were awarded $50,000 and it's $10,000 a year every 5 years. If you move in the third year, you still owe $20,000 back to the program. You got to stay there for 5 years. It can't transfer, sell, any of that stuff. It's very important that you adhere to that. After the 5 years now, it used to be 15% was owed in perpetuity until the program was, until you sold, transferred, passed away, whatever happens, that money was always due back to the program. That's no longer the case. So it's forgiven down to 0% over that 5-year period. Very important. For both of our programs, we do a competitive bid. We will come out. If you are in need of a furnace, you'll get several visits from my housing inspectors, my intake specialist. We'll get all your banking information. We'll pry into your bank accounts and things like that. We have to make sure that what you make qualifies you for the program. And it's a little invasive, but it's what the state makes us do to make sure that we give the money to the right people. So you'll get calls and visits from my staff. If you're getting furnaces involved in your property, we team up with MyCap. They'll come out and evaluate your furnace for us because they have that know-how. They're very good at what they do. If it's anything else, my guys will write that up. They'll talk with you about what's going to be done in the project. You'll sign off on that stuff. Every item that's going to be done at your house, you will be okaying. And then we put it out for competitive bid. All the contractors that are registered with my program are licensed lead abatement contractors, so they can do any and everything. The ones that aren't will only be included in the bids that are for things that don't involve lead-based paint. We have a few HVAC contractors and a few plumbers that don't hold the lead abatement license, but they are certified with the EPA Renovation, Repair, and Paint Program certificate. So they're well trained, and we keep pretty good track of them. If you're in the rehab program or the job requires a lead-based paint risk assessment, that'll be done by a third party as well. We use the Mahoney County Public Health risk assessor, and then we have 2 private ones that we also use. So you're going to get, if you do get chosen or you're successful at applying, you're going to get several visits from several different people, and it's going to be a little bit unsettling at first. But if anybody's called my office, I know a lot of people have been calling my office or calling here. When you bring your information back that we asked for in the application, bring as much as you can so that we have all the information right up front. Number one is income and ownership are the 2 most important things right off the bat when you're filling out that application. Anything else that we need to dive into, we'll dive into as we go forward. This past grant program got pushed back a little bit because of COVID, and the farther we go out from today, every 6 months we have to verify the income because things change, situations change, new jobs are had and things like that, and some people get upset that we have to do that. But once we get past that 6-month mark, we have to do the income verification all over again. So just bear that in mind when you're signing up for these programs. It's not a smooth process. I mean, it's not you're going to get one phone call and we're going to write you a check. That's not how it works. We're a steward of the state's money. You're going to see in this informational packet that I gave you, I talked about all those things pretty much that I just talked about, the oversight in my office, the people you're going to work with there, lead-based paint contractors. Page 4 in there shows you the income limits. And I put that in there. We got a section of money this year that we haven't had in the past. It is Ohio Housing Trust Fund money. We got $50,000 of that, and that money has to be spent on folks that are less than 50% of the area median income, which is in that extreme right-hand column there. So this is just a guideline to see if you qualify. We still have to go through the motions of making sure that what you make and what you have, assets are included in a lot of this. It's very technical for my intake person to go through and check what you make. But this is a general guide. If you think you're on the bubble, I would say put your application in and let us kick you out for not being financially eligible. Put it in and we'll kick you out. I should probably talk about the amount of money we have in the two sections. The rehab program, there's only $90,000 available technically for the city of Struthers. The city of Camel, the same, and the county is due a little bit more. By applying in a partnership, we can get $1 million. If we all went individually, it would be $100,000 less because of going individually. But they give us a little kicker for making a partnership and running it under one roof because the administrative fees are a little bit less when you do it one time instead of 3. So there's about $90,000 available in this community, $90,000 in Camel, and $120 in the county for the repair program. And I know we have about almost $600,000 in the rehab dollars, and it is 30%, 30%, and 40%. So what would that be? About 180. So we predict that we're going to do about three rehabs in Camel and Struthers, and we should do 4 in Mahoney County. So that equals 10. We predict that there's going to be 17 limited repairs between the two cities. 8, I think it's 8 and 8. I forgot my sheet. All told, there'll be about 10 to 11 projects done here, 10 to 11 projects done in Camel, and a few more in Mahoney County. Last grant period, I don't think I pitched the program that well in Mahoney County. Didn't have as many applicants, and guess what? Camel and Struthers benefited from that. We actually did 4 rehabs in Camel, 3 in Struthers, and the repairs were 7 and 7, I think, the number that we did. So we got the money. We gave a little bit more money of the county's money, but we're all Mahoney County as far as I was concerned. So you guys got a little bit more of the pie than just the county did properly. So there's some frequently asked questions section in there that's been building over the years, where you can go, the minimums and maximums you'll see there. I put the actual maximum after the soft costs are subtracted. It's $60,000 for rehab and $16,500 for repair. You can see that we won't be able to do every project. Some homes are too far gone for our services. We can ask for some forgiveness at the end. We can find some other money. My staff is pretty good at adding other programs where we can. If I can have MyCap come and do your furnace and save this program some money, I can go a little bit further on things like that. If you have a child under the age of 6, I think I screwed the application up myself. I was supposed to add that question onto the application. If you have a child under the age of 6, right off the bat, we love to know that, because the other program that we run is a lead-based paint program. So if we can't service you in this program, and we've done it several times, I know in the 2018 grant, we went out and did a project and realized there was a child under the age of 6 there, and we immediately enrolled that person into the lead-based paint grant program. Sometimes we combine them, sometimes we'll put you over there, but we try to help you get as much assistance as we can possibly get you, even if it's through relationships that we have throughout the community. You'll see some of the things that we have to walk away from, structural deficiencies and things like that. On page 6, you'll see what's generally eligible in most of our programs: roofs, gutters, windows, doors, furnaces, hot water tanks, and things like that, structural deficiencies. If the whole entire foundation has fallen down around the house or underneath the house, it's going to be hard pressed for us to replace that and make everything else up to speed. So I just like to put that out up front, because there's always someone that is going to be disappointed because we're not going to be able to do their home in that case. The applications that I'm going to give you before you leave can come back here tomorrow morning when you guys open up 8 o'clock. You'll bring them in, they'll get time stamped, and this is a first come, first serve program for us, just because there's so few dollars to go around. Bring it in and get time stamped, and don't call and say, am I gonna get in? Bring the application in and let us tell you that you're not gonna get service, because once we have that information, like I said, you got a child under the age of 6, I'll call you and say, let's put you through the lead program. Or if you indicate that you'll need a furnace, there's some questions on there, what you really need done, we'll refer you to MyCap and things like that. So don't hesitate. Fill it out, bring it back. There's as much information in there as you can. So you can bring it back here tomorrow morning at 8. You can take it to the county commissioner's office on the 2nd floor downtown at the admin building, 21 West Boardman Street. You could bring it to my office, which is in Austintown, 108 Westchester Drive in Austintown, in between PNC and the old new Denny's. It's coming back. It'll get time stamped and it'll get cataloged, and it's pretty easy to determine who was there first at that point. The last couple pages of this handout that you already have is the fair housing stuff. If you feel you're discriminated against in any way, there's plenty of numbers on there. Part of the application that you're going to sign says that you received that. It's in this packet right here. So when you take that packet, the fair housing stuff is right at the back. The state is very adamant that we get that fair housing information out there, just in case there's any discrimination or anything like that. Right off the bat, are there any questions about? I know there's got to be 10 questions. Yes, ma'am. If you don't get selected for Struthers, what we did last time is we had extra spots. I put them equally into Camel and Struthers. So you don't have to reapply. Your name will be in there. I have a roster list. I think I only got 17 applications in Struthers the last time. What we'll do when we get the applications is those, I believe it's the first 12 I sent letters to and said, you're preliminarily in the process, and we go from there, because there's going to be, it might not be the first application that comes in, but the second application or the third, somebody's going to not qualify. They're either not going to own the home, financially they put the application in, but we had to set it aside, or the house is too far gone. So it's not always the first 7 people that are going to get serviced. It's going to be within that top 10 probably, and we'll let you know. If you don't get selected, you'll get a letter saying that you were outside that top tier. What happens if we then get enough people drop out, we'll bring those people back in. We keep that roster. We still have it today from the last 2 grants that we ran. And we'll drop people down into the category where they can get funding from the grant, or if we come up with additional funding. The state has some things in the works for lead-based paint that may go above and beyond what my program can do with lead-based paint with a child under the age of 6. It may be a little bit broader than that. So if that money comes down to us, they have about $130 million that's going to dole out in some fashion to the counties. If that money comes in and I can further what we can do in this fashion with those applications, I'll do that. And the people that have applied accordingly, if I'm able to slide you guys in those spots, those roster spots, I'll go ahead and do that. So you don't have to reapply for the county program. I told these guys when we first started this about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was all for spending the money that was due here first, and I'm going to do the same thing in Mahoning County. I'm not going to fall short again in Mahoning County. So chances are, it's unfortunate for you that you'll only have that $90,000 and 180 to spend here, but the county gets its due as well, and so I always vow to spend 300 here, 300 in Campbell, and 400 in the county, and that's what I try to do. So I think we've done it every time since I've been here. So who else had a question? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have contractors that you use for the county?
We do. We have and here there is a way that you can suggest a contractor to us. However, they have to come and qualify for our program as well, which takes time. So if you get in day one and there's a contractor that you feel is worthy of bidding, it's a competitive bid, and that's the way the county does business. I don't have a rotating list or anything like that, so it's a competitive bid. But someone that you suggest is certainly welcome to bid, but they have to fall in the parameters of our. They have to have the insurances, workers' comp paid up, and all those things, and have a lead-based paint component to their outfit as well. But in the beginning, you'll get a list of the contractors that are registered with our program. You can strike out any of the ones that you don't want. You can suggest ones that you want to bid as well, but again, they have to fit the parameters of the program at the end of the day before they can do any work. Which, we also have a training program, so if anybody in here is a handy, I have a training program that'll get you set up to be state licensed and EPA certified for lead-based paint. So spread the word on that too. Yes, sir. I'll probably send out 10. The first 10 people that get in there, I'll probably send out 10 and say, you may have a shot. And beyond that, I'll send out a letter saying you're outside the run.
If you're on that bubble, are you going to send a letter out to
We'll keep you abreast of the situation on, and it is a 2-year grant, so it does go out 2 years. For instance, the last 2 projects that I did were just last month. I had everything else in the books, and just last month we had about, we were going to have to set $8,000 back. I got 2 emergency furnaces called in from Campbell, and we spent that last $8,000. But if it looks like we can service you, we will definitely be in touch. But we. I'm sorry?
I thought my cap does.
They don't have an emergency furnace program right now. I called them. That's the first person I called when I got the call from Campbell. Was my cap. They don't have an emergency furnace program. We were lucky to be able to do it. But if you're on that bubble and it looks like you're coming through, initially it moves pretty quickly. So we'll know if and that's why I send out 10. 3 drop out, those top 10 have a good shot at it. If it looks like you're not going to make it, then we'll contact you and say, all 7 of these qualified and all the houses are perfect. We're going to start to evaluate pretty quickly once we get these in. The housing specialists are going to go out and do structural inspections. We'll get the preliminary income stuff as well. But yeah, we try to do our best with communication. I try not to keep a running list. I was a housing director at the city of Youngstown back in 2000. And when I started, we had a list of folks that were applying for funds just like this in the city of Youngstown. There were 1,700 names on it. I did a mass mailing to all 1,700 addresses to try and purge that list. It got whittled down to 440 names. I was there from 2000 till 2005, and when I left in 2005, there was 1,450 names on it again. And that's just not, it's not realistic. It's not, it's not, the people that were 1,400 will never get serviced. And the people that were, 1, 2, and 5, 10, or up to 100, some of them move, some of them pass on, the house gets sold, what have you. I was never a big proponent of that waiting list because it almost gives you false hope. Go ahead.
Do you timestamp it at your office too?
Yep, it'll be timestamped. My whole staff knows. Everybody here knows. Taylor in the mayor's office knows. I talked to her this morning about timestamping, and if she goes to lunch, whoever comes in, she will instruct to timestamp that. It's when you go down, if you take it to the commissioner's office, 2nd floor, you got to go through the metal detector just like here. He'll ask you where you're going, put you in the elevator, send you to the 2nd floor. Make sure that you see somebody at that table or at that window. They will timestamp it. They've been instructed as well. Everybody in my office knows it, and City of Camel as well. So we're open at 8. Actually, we'll start taking them at 8. We're actually we have a training class going on right now, and those guys are getting there at like 7:30, but we won't take them till 8 at our office, as well as here. Had a situation in Camel. I don't know if it was 2020 or 2018, where somebody came in at 7:30 and opened the doors, and it was all hell broke loose. People were calling, even though the people that were there have been in line since 6 o'clock to turn their apps. 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, as far as I'm concerned. You had a question over here somewhere? Yes, ma'am.
Where do we come, like tomorrow morning to drop off our application?
Front door and into the mayor's office.
Front door?
And our doors don't unlock until 8 o'clock. They're on an automatic timer, so you won't be able to come in and wait. At 8 o'clock, the automatic timer, our front doors will unlock, and we will be in the office.
That's a technical question I would have to look up, to be honest with you. And I would say put your app in and let us say that's not something we can do. I've never had that situation yet. We've done sewer tap-ins and septic tanks and things like that. You have gas lines up there?
Yeah, right across the street.
You just got to tap in.
They said they could tap
They do mention septic. I'll have to check on gas. For sure, but put your application in and we'll sort it out. We'll come out and rank what it is you need and sort it out. Anyone else have questions? All right. I'm going to pass the application out, or you can take one on your way out the door. If you have questions, my name and number is all over this application, that informational paper. Call me in my office or send me an email, and I will get you taken care of. Thank you, Scott. Sorry?